now say this belongs to us. Smaller nations or tribes also begin to say this belongs to us. That, and everybody, just like we are discussing.
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness, the Green Revolution, instead of resolving an agricultural problem, it created a new, sincerely terrible problem of land ownership and land speculation. And that created one of the problems fundamentally. Secondly, when they own it, they now begin to sell, because by the time you own an office, and then the office is no more, because the money is just coming for free from the office. So you can't control, you can't.
So you sell the land.
You begin to sell the land, and then farmers say, this land was there for us, and then for us, and now this guy is selling at this exorbitant price, so somebody can buy at this price. They now begin to now say, okay, we have to control the remaining. They begin to control the remaining, and the government did not actually, pursue and then implement the, adoption of the land belonging to the government. Some of the land were not even gazetted. You can see that some of the land, we call it government land, but they were not gazetted. I had an experience when I was solo in Giwa. There's a land very close to Giwa, and then the people now begin to say that is their land. But that land was collected from them, and compensation given to them in 1974. And then it was revitalized and then was given to them again. It was reviewed and given to them again in 1978. The records and names of trees and everything and payment being given for trees and for land were there. So I now tried to get the list. I couldn't get the list. Just to show you an example, a case study. So we tried to get, and I was the sole administrator, and the government told us to recover all those areas so that we can be able to now make use of them, and then be able to now have green areas in most of the village to reduce the encroachment of this land. The present administration actually asked us to do that, only to discover that we have only 2. And from record, we have over 17.
All the rest have been
disposed of. So I now came, and that land is actually very close to Giwa, just before you enter into Giwa, and it's a land for a ranch, for the nomads, cattle ranch, yes. So I will now begin to say, I asked everybody, no document. So the fact that I'm assigned and I had to fail, so I now begin to look. Started looking for old workers. The worker that I got was an old man. He's never even coming out of his house. So I went to him in one village, and I said, this is what we want. And I was told that you are one of those workers who work in that place. Please, can you help us to get those documents? He said, those documents I would so, but I have few of them. I said, Baba, can you make it to those people and see how we can get those documents for us? I'll pay for the transport and all the logistics. Yes, my son can take me on a bike. I said, all right. And I sponsor. Before you know it, we got a document with the name of the family heads, the amount they collected. You will see 400 pounds. You see 200 pounds. You see 90 pounds. You see this.
Big money.
I called them for a stakeholder discussion. They came. We discussed. The only living old man is actually living somewhere in Benue. But he used to come once in a year. I also asked, can I get him so that I will pay for the logistic? So I had to. Then I got the man and I sent the logistic for him and he came down. And I asked him to get all the leaders of the present families so that we can discuss. We discussed the first time, we discussed the second time, we discussed the third time. This guy is foiling the problem. This old man is foiling the problem. Then I was forced because I have all those documents. The last meeting, that's the fourth one, I now brought all of them. And I would call a name of a family. Somebody would tell me, I would say, you collected this. This is the hectare of land your father or grandfather sold to the government. This is the amount given to him. These are the number of trees in those farms, the land, as at the time they sold it in 1974. And this is the amount given to you when it was reviewed. This is the balance given to you. So you have no land. The land belongs to the government. Go. This one, I followed all of them until I read, including the old man. He had 3. And he sold one at 400 pounds. You can imagine the amount.
At that time.
Yes. He forgot because he ate it off. So I now read it to him and I said, he said, now can you tell me the borders of the land? I said the border is 2,000 hectares. Can you tell me where it started? I said, Baba, you are the one to tell him where it started and it ended. It seems you don't want peace. You collected, didn't you? You collected this one, didn't you? This is how it started. That's my news of that one. But for the children that actually receive the history from this type of generation, they will cease to agree with any agreement because all they believe is that the land belongs to them. So any attempt
to take it to become a problem.
In fact, 20 to 30 years ago, people are still claiming the land that does not belong to them. I'm sorry to mention this.
No,
because in Kaduna State we have more crises. Even smaller tribes that did not own land are owning land today. And you are saying that they own the whole town. And if you go back to history, you will simply say that, where is Kusherki? The Gwari of Kusherki, where are they? From where did they come to stay? You understand? Even Kusherki, where is Kusherki under? Kusherki was before under Lapai. And Lapai was under Zazzau. So you can imagine why they move and they become part of us. You understand? But today they claim more than the owners. They have everything. And then later when there was adjustment and realignment, Labia now from Bauchi moved to Plateau State, and then the other areas moved to other areas. Because there is realignment, and Jama'ah was created, Jama'ah Federation. Federation of Jama'ah, in Arabic means Jama'ah, Jama'ah. People from different parts, means Jama'ah. So they were now asked to come because the burden on Zaria is too much. So they want to reduce the burden, they created Jama'ah Federation, and the people there settled, inclusive of Hausa, inclusive of all other tribes, from Latvia, from Nasarawa, from Plateau, from Bauchi, from so many places, and from even Kauru area, and they settled there.
Doctor,
from that
I didn't know you are also a historian.
No.
But as an environmentalist, there are environmental
That's what I'm
issues
trying to do. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. So the land now, because they started this Green Revolution, the land became scarce for the nomads to move. Suddenly, the farmers has what we refer to as mutual understanding. When you farm your corn, you leave the balance of something, and they farm, they stock, and they will eat it up, and then they'll give you residues, and they'll stay in your farm and give you residues, and they move at the time the rain is coming. Now suddenly the farmers decided to change style. They started to burn it instead of giving it to the nomads.
So how can they survive?
There's that. So they now begin to think of alternative. They begin to move towards Benue. Benue is becoming saturated because of the number of cows coming from Niger, coming from Burkina Faso, from Cameroon, and some other parts. They now begin to expand down to Enugu, Enugu to Delta, Delta to up to Port Harcourt. And then on the other side, those from Zamfara, from Niger, part of Zamfara and Sokoto, and those from Katsina started moving towards Ilorin. Ilorin down to Gunondo, Osho, or Komasho, and they started moving towards that area for a period of time. For those Fulanis, they have what dictates their movement. People didn't know. They speak to their cows. Just like ordinarily, you understand, if you have a dog today, you know what to call the dog and it will come. If you have what you call a cat, you know what to do to the cat and it will come. And you know when the cat offends you, when you beat it, you never repeat it. The same thing with them. They are so used to each other that when they make sound, when the animals make sound and face certain direction, that's the direction the Fulanis will move. And it depends on the sound. It could be movement of the whole family. It could be the movement of the Gaina Koen. That's the smaller Fulanis, who now move with the cows for 6 months, 3 months, 2 months, or less than 2 months. They'll go and feed, yes, and then come back. So the sound of the cow and the direction faced by the cows determine the type of movement for the nomads. People didn't know that. That is culture. Because you will now be worshipping something, and even a tree, and you say the direction of the wind that turned the tree is what you will do. People have this, don't see it as something scary. So when they move to that direction by the dictate of nature and the dictate of their own relationship with their animals, it now becomes a problem.
If they don't move, it also will be a problem.
It will be a problem because they believe if they do not move, there is a tendency that the rinderpest may be there and the cows will have to die. You understand? And that movement also determines whether they will go there to meet with other Fulanis and they exchange. Because the weather is not good for this type of cows in my direction, But I will try these brands. So there they will exchange with each other. You give me some, I will try them, and then I will give you some, you try them. And then the following year you converge again to discuss the success.
Culture.
Yes, that's culture.
So, but you see, the farmers these days don't even get the manure from the cows.
They don't. And that's why.
And they have to depend on,
on chemical fertilizer.
Yes.
And that's why the land is not yielding what we needed. And that's why the present government have decided to change the permutation of the chemicals.
What about the economic value of even the dung itself?
That's that. So by the time we start, just like I was saying in most of the other programs, I said, you are driving them, but you never knew what you are driving. I cited the example one time. We went to Germany, a village Hague, at the border of Netherlands. We met 8 farmers having 4,900 herds of cows, and from the dung and the urine of the cows, they are generating 3 megawatts of lights.
Electricity.
Electricity. You can imagine more than half of Kaduna town will, will be supplied with lights. 3 megawatts, 4,900 herds of cows.
And we have millions.
And we have millions of cows roaming about. That's number one. People didn't know that it's a simple technology. Take it, remove the dung, remove, don't allow it to have contact with the soil or sand, remove it, and then take it into the digester. The digester will digest and stay for a certain period of time to ferment. After it ferment, it becomes a methane gas, which you can just transmute and then generate your light with. And then the same dung, the phosphate and some balance of the urea in it will now come out as waste again, and the farmer will pack it, and that's what they will take to their farm again to farm. I met that the 8 farmers, each farmer is producing minimum of 2,000 bags of maize, apart from generating 3 megawatts
of electricity.
Yes, and they are having 2,000 bags of maize, which they are not taking. Germany are not maize takers. They only use it, part of it, to feed the animals with the stock. They squeeze the stock together with and they give the animals to take. That's what they feed. You don't need to roam about. And then part of it, they put into the digester to get fermentation.
Dr. Yahya, what you are saying is that we perhaps don't really need cattle to go to those places. We can stay with our cattle here and make the best.
All we need to do is to do the Chinese way. Bring these farmers back to their communities in the north. Create a community forest for them. Let them regenerate the forest. Let them use the forest at the same time, and then have a little conveyor inside where the cows are, and then begin to take the dungs into the digester and begin to generate your light without waiting for rainfall, without having problems, and then the farmers and the herders will benefit. And then from there, you don't need to get chemical fertilizer. The residue that you remove the methane from, the animal dung residue, will now be taken back to the farm, and then you put it in the farm and you develop your maize and you grow your maize, and that will give you more food, more money, and then make Nigeria a greater nation in terms of supply of light. This is what we are losing. This is what the North is supposed to do. And that's why I'm saying the Northern governors must be serious. They must come back to their senses. I'm not saying they don't have sense, but I'm saying that that sense of communityhood, that sense of togetherness, that NNDC they created, this is the time for them to come back and look at the agriculture, especially the farmers-normal relationship. Settle these farmers into a place, just like Kaduna State is trying to do in Damo. We are working and we are hoping that Kaduna State is going to succeed. And that would be a pilot for Northern Nigeria to understand, to know that we don't even need to disturb Kainji. We don't need to disturb Shiroro. We don't need for our light to go to Lagos or Ogbomosho before it will be transported back to us for us to have. We don't need our industry to go down just because of light. We only need the solar to support us, because the dung methane generated is more advantageous than the solar. Because in solar, you can only make your profit after 5 years of investment. In animal dung generation of power, you need only 1 year and you break even. And the second year, you're going to make profit. So what I'm trying to say here is that let the nomads come back to the north, but let the northern governors prepare for it. Let us have a field, an open space for them.
In other words, we need to sit down and talk about this and reach a synergy where these things can be put together.
Yes.
We'll take another quick short break. When we come back, finally, we'll take our calls. Our listeners, if you want to call us, I will drop our numbers for you right now: 070-121-39014. The number again is 070-121-39014. Or the other number is 070-6308-4094. Number again is 070-6308-4094. This is Straight Talk Nagata. We've been talking to Dr. Saleh Ibrahim of the Kaduna State University. We'll be right back. This is Straight Talk Nagata. When we come back, we'll look at this survivor. Looking at the society, can they survive without us? So that if it is symbiotic, why can't we sit down instead of all these killings and causing trouble? Because when war starts, it's on everybody's head. Nobody will escape. Welcome back. This is Straight Talk Nagata coming to you live on Nagata Radio Kaduna, Maraban Jos Kaduna, Nigeria. I've been talking to Dr. Saleh Ibrahim, a man I think is doing justice to this issue, and because it has to do with the environment. Now, Dr. Yahya, moving ahead now, perhaps before the calls start coming in, interdependence is perhaps what we have been used to. Take our goods there, purchase certain things from there, here, they bring their goods here and take some there. How is this going to happen if we have this state?
Well, we need to understand the symbiosis between us from independence and pre-independence. We need to understand nobody, if you think you can, nobody can stay alone. The North cannot stand alone because they farm and produce what they cannot consume alone. And that's what it is. And the South cannot stand alone because they also produce what they cannot consume alone. So everybody needs everybody. If the colonial masters need us, and that's why they integrated it into South, North, and then form what they refer to as Nigeria, because of the economic value they saw in us, then there's no point for us saying that this value has gone and it should go. The only people that think that way are those people who think only within their own chest and they couldn't go out of it. So what I'm trying to say is that you can't. I want to tell the South, you can't stay without the North, nor the North can stay without us.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, good afternoon. Who is on the line? This is Straight Talk Nagata. Good afternoon. Go ahead.
My name is Musa from Bendera.
Your name is who?
My name is Musa from Bendera.
Okay, then go ahead.
We are federation. Federation is the group of organizations like people that have joined together to fight. People have joined together to fight and also grow country. My question is,
Okay.
what is constitution?
What is?
Constitution. I'm telling you. Hello?
Hello, I cannot get you clearly.
What is constitution? My question.
What is the Constitution?
Yes, I'm types of constitution.
I don't know if you get that.
Yes.
Endaura, I don't know.
Yes, sir.
Come again with your question, please.
What is constitution?
What is Constitution? Oh, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm types of constitution. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Hello. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, who is on the line? This is Straight Talk Nagata.
Hello?
Hello? Talk to us. Who? Usman Sami. Usman Sami, go ahead. How are you? Tobasha, go ahead. What's your contribution? Usman Sami is not talking there. I think there's a problem with the network. It's not even clear. But callers, I can see the calls are coming in, but we can't get them. Hello? Hello? Wa alaikum salam. This is Straight Talk. Please go ahead.
My name
Go ahead. Mohammed, go ahead. Fine, thank you. Yes, go ahead. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, who is on the line? This is Straight Talk Negastar.
Abdul from Kaduna.
Go ahead, Abdul from Kaduna.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I want to comment again there for a very good explanation and detailed information pertaining what is happening within the north and other part of the country.
MashaAllah, go ahead.
If I may suggest, the discussion, I think if it will be possible to be having it at the town hall within the locality. Let's example in Kaduna, all the local government should be having information related to this. Because these are something that's supposed to start at the grassroots. The grassroots need to understand it. All our people at the higher level, they are not looking at that angle. What they are after, how will they sponsor their children, how will they take care of their family? They are not looking at the other people at the grassroots. So this discussion, I suggest at the local government level to have a kind of a committee that will voluntarily support the program by cascade.
Okay. Go ahead.
Cascading it down.
Yes. Thank you very much. I think you made your point, Abdul. Thank you very much. Well, I think just let's go ahead. We are running out of time. We respond to those that we can hear, and then you now look at this survival, because right now that is where we are. Can the country survive? How are we going to survive? How is society going to survive on its own?
Yes, and so I'm just of the opinion that Abdullah's contribution is actually very, very, very good, and that's the contribution we actually needed. I would suggest that the presenter should actually maybe consult with other media station houses, and then begin to think of how to develop a proposal where you now approach the government. I believe the government of Kaduna State honestly will accept, and even some part of northern Nigeria, we will be ready to discuss. There are quite a number of us that share this in the universities and outside the university who share this difficulty the North is facing. Sincerely, that will go a long way.
Especially your expose on some of these benefits that we can make out of these things.
Yeah, we need to talk to each other. We need to understand. There's no way the farmer will leave the nomad. No way the nomad will leave the farmers. So also no way the North will leave the South. No way the South will leave the North. And then, but if it persisted and anybody feel we cannot stay anymore, we have to take to the Murtala's regime. Let everybody understand what contribution everybody is given. And then, or we can go confederation.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello. Hello. Wa alaikum salam.
My name is Saleh.
Falalu Umar, please go ahead.
Yes. So, though I do not know people from the beginning, I just started the program.
Okay.
But what I just trying to rather understood maybe what this is trying to let people
okay.
Maybe lack of leadership in the north.
Good. Lack of leadership in the north, because there is no convergence point. Everybody is for themselves. Yes. Go ahead.
Our leaders, they have to come together in such a way that to help the nation, help the northern and the north as well.
Okay.
Everything that is going on to or rather affecting the government, it's just because that look at this or rather the other parts of the country are aware that we are not cooperating.
Okay.
We don't have leaders. We don't talk with one voice. We don't have people who are our leaders, who are our elders that can fight for us. I think that is right. We just come and do whatever we want.
Thank you very much, Falalu.
No, I didn't get it.
Okay.
The program from
No problem. I think you made your mark. You made your mark. Thank you very much.
So that's exactly that. That's exactly what we have said, and
okay.
And that's what Falalu actually also re-echoed. That's what we are saying. That's the one problem. We are never together. We are never together. Look at what happened. And now the people are saying, they're saying that they are killing everybody. Anybody they see, they kill. And then suddenly the North said, we are bringing something to you and you're killing us. So let's stop and see, so that we make, rethink that do we really need
but
to.
I hear some DSS people are able to.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to
Why
even
should
say.
they do that?
The government refused to say anything.
But now they are saying something because you refuse to take something.
Yes.
Why?
The leaders of the North refused to say anything. The presidency refused to say anything. Now the DSS are going to dispatch them. When they killed the members of those people protesting, the DSS did not go to dispatch those people who are killing. They did not arrest them. That's why I keep saying there's one country, many nations. Some of the nations are independent and some are not. And that's exactly what it's showing. And that's why the federated system we're operating need to change to confederation for dependency's sake, so survival's sake, so that everybody can now be, know what he has and know what he can do. Malaysia is having a confederated state, about 4 of them before. We have the state of Singapore, now is independent. We have the state of Sabah, they are still attached to Malaysia. And then we have the state of Sarawak, they are still attached to Sabah. And Brunei was also part of Malaysia before. Today they are independent. And then we had similar thing up to 1963, where the southern Cameroon and the northern Cameroon were part of Nigeria. So we can come back to see if that's what will work for us, so that everybody will respect. Otherwise, we do the simple one, suggested in 1975 or 1974 by Murtala Mohammed, create a market at the border, and everybody should go there, so that everybody will be secured. And then the second one is the North must also realign, so that they will have the respect they needed in the South. You can't be taken from the North in a trailer. You go to arrive in the South, and you think somebody will respect you. And a businessman that has only 10,000 with him and want to go to Lagos from the Southeast will charter a bus, will be in a bus, and you arrive Lagos in a bus.
Do what you want and
then go away and go back and start afresh.
So if they need these things, they should bring their trailer.
So I am suggesting that anybody coming from this part of the North going to the South must be blocked in all the borders, and the buses will be prepared there. Any trailer person should be charged for taking human being, not goods or animals. It should be so charged.